It's me again in the movie, and today I will run down a 2020 crime and horror film titled Getaway. Please be advised that there will be spoilers ahead of this video, so chill out and enjoy it as I narrate it for you. The film opens with an unidentified man dragging a girl with a lantern into the forest during the night. When Tamara awakens in her bed, she realizes that what happened was just a nightmare. The movie scene shifts to three men burying someone in an excavated grave in their backyard. Tamara takes a shower while listening to the news on the radio about another missing girl in Randolph County. According to the local authorities, she's the 16th victim of kidnapping in just 1 month. Tamara is planning to go on the girl's trip with her longtime friends at the lake. The girl meets Deputy Sheriff Jerry at the door, who desires to be Tamara's boyfriend and expresses his intention to take her out on a date. Tamara informs the cop that she will give it some thought when she comes back from her trip. Tamara then calls her friends Maddie and Brooke, and she excitedly informs them that she's about to join them shortly because she's on her way to the lake. Sadly, the vehicle runs out of gas and is forced to park on the roadside. Tamara gets frightened when another pickup pulls over shortly behind her, and the bearded man named Marv asks Tamara if he can assist her. Tamara accepts that her vehicle has run out of gas, and the gas station is very far away. The man promises to fill her up if she is ready to offer him something in return. Tamara starts to feel uneasy about the situation. Then the man grinned and told her that he's kidding but complimented her, saying she has a pretty face and was smelling good. When he goes to bring the gallon from his truck, Tamara calls her friends and shares her difficulties on the road. Marv's brother Kib appears on her passenger side and asks who was on the phone with her. Knowing that the girl is heading to the lake party, the brothers volunteer to accompany her, saying they had long planned to visit the lakeside. Tamara tells them that her friends are waiting for her to scare them off before starting the engine and driving away. Since they are in a familiar place, Marv and his brother are not in a rush to take their next course of action. They get in their truck and slowly trail her. Tamara finally makes it to the lake a few minutes later to meet her longtime friends, Maddie and Brooke. Brooke approaches two of the guys on the boat had previously shown genuine interest in getting to know the pretty girls. She asks for the drinks and requests if she could take some for her friends. When the guys learn from Brooke that the girls will go to the bar in the evening, they ask if they can join their party. Brooke only grinned before walking away. Tamara and her friends continue to enjoy themselves, not noticing that someone is watching them from the edge of the woods. The girls are preparing for the pub party that evening, but they get scared when they hear an odd sound coming toward their cabin. They quickly turned out the lights as a result. The girls only discover Deputy Sheriff Terry at the doorstep. He tells Tamara that he has been so worried about her ever since he contacted her mobile, and it was out of reach due to the signal. Terry talks to his sweetheart for a while before leaving for work. Moments later, the girls visit the pub, and the barman tells them to order anything they like since the bill is on the house because it's a fortunate night. Maddie goes to the bathroom as Tamara and Brooke begin to dance and enjoy every minute of the evening. The girls decide to make tonight even more enjoyable in the restrooms. While the girls are still having a good time and dancing, the two men, Marv and Kib, are spotted entering the same pub. Marv quietly dissolves tablets in a glass, then asks the bartender to serve the three girls. Already tipsy, Tamara continues to take an inadvertent sip of the tainted drink and continues with the dancing. She immediately becomes lightheaded and chooses to walk outside for some fresh air. Tamara is defenseless and unable to scream when the two brothers approach and kidnap her. They drove and took her to their father's place that night. Tamara wakes up and discovers herself in the back of the pickup in an unknown place. Once she hears the men's voices, she becomes even more afraid, then decides to jump and hide under the truck. The father and his boys are shocked to see that the girl isn't in the pickup. But Kib discovers a scared Tamara hiding under the vehicle. She retaliates and makes an attempt to get away through the forest. However, her kidnappers go after her and stop her before she can go very far. With a leash around her hands, Tamara wakes up in the stable and begins to cry. The boy's father informs her that no one will hear her cries, no matter how she screams. He goes on to say that he has good plans for her. Despite Tamara's warnings that they won't get away with it so easily, Marv chuckles and makes it clear to her that she's not their first victim and no one has ever escaped them. Pa tells her that he has family obligations to send attractive girls like her to their creator. He becomes much more enraged when she adds that even her family has a responsibility to curse wicked people like them. Tamara pulls off her prank and pukes on Kib's shirt. Shortly after, Kib says he wants to talk about the abducted girl's strange behavior and speculates that she might be a witch. However, Marv allays his worries, telling him not to worry about anything. Tamara uses the voice assistant on her phone to leave Deputy Sheriff Jerry a voicemail claiming that three men kidnapped her before her phone's battery ran out. Marv fantasizes about the things he will do to the abducted girl when he is by himself outside. Terrified, he watches the door closing from inside and believes Kibbs is doing it to frighten him. Then he knocks on the door to gain entry but is oblivious to the white-clothed woman passing beside him. Kib is shocked when he finally opens it and says he never locked the door because he was asleep in his bed. Marv takes the truck keys and starts the engine. But he shivers when he sees a white-clad female standing in front of him the moment he turns on the lights. Marv checks on her right away, but by the time he looks beneath the pickup, the woman has already disappeared. Then he scraps his plans and hastily returns to the house. Before their dinner, Pa does the customary prayers. He expresses gratitude to his creator for providing them with food and a lovely girl, whom they will send to him very soon. In his chamber alone, Pa opens the box where he keeps all the women's hair he has slain and emotionally holds them to conduct a spell. However, the room door opens unexpectedly. Thinking the sons are spying on him, he quickly walks to them in the sitting room. The father is furious and vows to punish the two harshly if they interrupt him ever again. When he goes back to the room, he is surprised to find human bones on his bed, calls Marv and Kib to his room, and reprimands both for their failure to properly cover the graves. Gibbs thinks Tamara is cursed and responsible for all of this. Pa and his boys visit Tamara that same night, but they find the constraints are still intact. Tamara then informs them that she doesn't know anything they're talking about. The father calls it sick lies and strikes her. The kidnappers hear an odd noise from the woods, and as soon as they go out, the stable door closes on its own. This is only enough to make them return to the shed, but they notice symbols on the floor and cast Tamara a suspicious glance before making their way back to the house. After listening to the voicemail messages, Deputy Sheriff Jerry learns with horror that 3 unknown males kidnapped Tamara. Unfortunately, Tamara's battery failed before she could elaborate or disclose her location. Kib approaches Tamara alone and informs her that he was pressured into doing frightening things to other convicts by his father and eldest brother. And according to his father, they bury stunning women to meet their creator because that's the only way to be saved from their immorality. Tamara challenges Kibbs to reevaluate his unquestioning faith in the father. She asserts that she is not a witch, as everyone is thinking about her. Kib is pleased about the news because it means Tamara is a fantastic candidate who simply needs to meet her creator. He kisses the top of her head and leaves the stable. When Marv is apparently asleep, the same girl in the white dress comes into her bedroom. She starts screaming so hard that he awakens from the sleep. Marv grabs the weapon, and when he looks through the blinds, he doesn't find anything. Fearful, Marv rushes into his father's chamber and finds the wall inscription filled with all the missing girls' names. Now Pa is convinced that Tamara is a descendant of the devil. He also believes she is the one responsible for exhuming the bones of the 16 victims to haunt his family. The kidnappers made the decision very early in the morning to immerse Tamara in water to purify her body and soul, and they won't stop until she accepts and embraces purity. Once she refused to consent, Pa ordered his boys to dip her in the water several times before she accepted. As they take Tamara back to the stable, they notice the evil symbols suspended from the ceiling. Subsequently, the father gives his sons instructions to dig a fresh grave before destroying every symbol in the shed. When his younger kid tries to reason with his father, Pa interrupts him and makes him follow his commands. The deputy sheriff shows up at the pub where Tamara and her friends vanished. The bartender recognizes them when the officer shows their pictures to him. He goes on to tell him about the men who perfectly fit Kibbs and Marv's descriptions. The bartender regretfully informs the officer that their security cameras aren't working. Terry gives him his card, telling him to contact him if he has any updates. The scene returns to the location where Tamara is held captive. Tamara succeeds in freeing herself, while Kib follows his father's orders to dig a new grave in the backyard. Tamara tries to run away, but Kibbs gets there in time before she jumps outside. The girl uses the garden fork to hold Kib captive. They rekindled their conversation about angels and devils. Kibbs is scared by Tamara and gives in to his fear, falling into the grave against his will. Tamara jumps into the grave to cut the restraints with Kibbs' pocket knife. Marv goes outside after hearing the disturbance in the backyard. He finds Tamara running away and throws her into the chase. Pa calls his boys when he wakes up, and when they don't answer him, he steps outside to investigate, only to discover Kib dead in the grave. Just then he hears a woman crying inside the woods, and once he walks closer, the 2 girls in masks scare him half to death and he falls to the ground. It's now clear that Brooke and Maddie were hiding behind these masks and there were no ghosts. They carry the elderly man while he stays still. Marv is still after Tamara in the woods. She stops him when he catches up to her by striking him hard in the head with a stone. Marv and his father are unconscious when the 3 girls carry them back home. When the villains come to their consciousness, the girls admit that they have been watching them kidnap girls for a long time and that they were aware of all of their wrongdoings from the start. The father and son are gagged and tied to the poles. The girls proclaim that the father and the son must play the game of 16 girls, which is the total number of girls the father abducted, And after the boys use them, they bury them in their backyard. There are 16 seconds left for both guys to break free and fail to do so. Tamara and friends threaten to shoot them dead. Tamara shot Pa when he freed himself and tried to escape. The deputy sheriff hears the gunshot sound and signals the dispatch for assistance. Marv is let loose to untie himself by Tamara and her friends, but as soon as he tries to attack them, they shoot him to put an end to their vices. Soon after, Jerry arrives and gives Tamara a joyful hug while praising her and her friends' boldness. The girls return to the city a few days later, and most importantly, they were healthy and happy. This brings the movie to an end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more of my videos. Have a good day.